So, synopsis, which drives everybody crazy. Here's the key you got to remember. The light's on. They're not reading your synopsis unless they're interested. So all you can do is screw up. All you can do is mess up. All you can do is turn the light bulb off. So, do you really need one? I say yes. There's some agents who say, like Howard the Cooler, he didn't want a synopsis because he says there's no synopsis in the book. I said to him, you don't have to read it. I'm like, oh, he hadn't thought of that one. I'm a fan of the one-page synopsis. You go to conferences, you're going to hear 2, 3, 14, whatever. Here's my point. The more you put, the more chance you're going to put something they don't like. Less is better. Okay, now it can be single-spaced. I've shrunk it 88% to fit it on a page, all sorts of things. But it's the main story arc from beginning to end. Name 3 characters in your synopsis, that's it. The protagonist, antagonist, and 1 major supporting character. Don't give me 10 names in the synopsis. I can't remember them. On the critiques I did for some of you all, I said, I don't know who's who anymore, I'm lost. Because short-term memory is 7 things. All right? What's your idea? What's your story? Give me 3 names, what I had for lunch, and what I'm doing tonight. That's it. Give me that 4th name to blow my circuit. Give the ending. Every agent in our said they want the ending because they want to know what your payoff is. Again, simple goal. Turn the page. So if they turn this page, they think you have a good idea and you've turned it into a good story. Common mistakes. Too long. If I read your 1-page synopsis and half the synopsis is your climactic scene, it's skewed. It's got to be evenly based on the entire manuscript. It's supposed to be prose, not bullets. Get rid of all your adjectives and adverbs. I've read synopsis and not knowing what the story is. I've read synopsis and not knowing who the protagonist is. I've read them and not knowing who the antagonist is. I've not known what the core conflict is. I haven't known the ending, and I don't know the genre. Answer all those questions. I want to know all those things. So how do you write them? Write a really long one and just keep cutting. Get rid of all your subplots. Better have a friend do it for you you trust. That is willing to read your book, which might be really hard to find. You can't really write one for a literary book, so we'll talk about that separately. Test it. Give your synopsis to someone, have them read it, take it back and say, what do you think my book's about? If they look at you blankly, not a good synopsis. So use narrative structure as your template. We've already learned narrative structure. Give me your inciting incident. Introduce me to your protagonist or antagonist to the problem. Show escalating conflict. Give me the moment of crisis when the protagonist makes a choice. Show me the climactic scene, which is the protagonist versus the antagonist resolving the problem. And give me the resolution.
It's the biggest problem I see in the ones that I get to edit is them putting in just their babies that are their favorite scenes, as opposed to just those key points in the book.
There's things you're going to love, you get rid of them. Not referring for the book, but in the synopsis, get rid of all your subplots. Your mind is really skewed. When I wrote Dragon Sim 13, which was actually my first manuscript, but got published second, chapter 6 was great. I love chapter 6. It was 36 pages long, manuscript form, which isn't too long in manuscript. It was Special Forces Briefback. What a Special Forces Briefback is, in this book, the team was getting ready to go on their mission into China. So what we had to do before we went on a mission is we would stand in a room like this in a secure facility. The commander would come in and sit at the front of the table. All his supporting staff would be there. All the Air Force liaison, everybody else who had to support this mission. My team would be seated in the chairs in the front of the room. And behind us, we had all the maps, the satellite imagery, and everything. First off, we cheated. There was so much stuff you got to memorize. And we memorized it. You got to memorize all the code words. We knew everybody on the team's blood type. We knew all our code names. We knew all our routes. We knew all our link-up points and rally points. But I had guys who were nervous speaking in public. They'd go kill somebody, but they didn't like speaking in public. So they would get rattled if the colonel said, Sergeant Trusky, tell me your code name for, Sergeant so-and-so. And he knew it, but he would get rattled. So what we did, and no one ever caught on to this, a big butcher paper in the back of the room, we put all that information. So Sergeant Trusky could stand up and go, his code name, sir, is, and nobody ever caught on to this. But anyway, we had to brief the entire plan from beginning to end. So chapter 6 in this book was a Special Forces briefback. It was so good they used it at Fort Bragg now to teach the briefback. You don't want to listen to we don't want to read the Special Forces briefing. You don't want to read the medic standing up and say, sir, the flora and fauna endemic to our area of operations is blah, 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 blah. That 36 pages, I had to cut to 6 pages. I had to get rid of all the stuff you didn't want to hear about. Kill your babies. So, really small. The red stuff doesn't go in, but what if mankind didn't originate the way we thought it did? Idea again, because they forgot it. I give the inciting incident. I introduce my protagonist, Major Turcotte. I give the problem. He's joined by a friend, and the reporter wants to know the truth of what is happening at Area 51. Then I introduce the antagonist. At Area 51, a secret meeting of Majestic 12, led by General Gulick, initiates a countdown to test an alien mothership. The whole problem in this book is there's a scientist going, I don't think we should turn this thing on. Sort of like the super collider over, like, it probably won't blow up the world. I like, what? It probably won't. The countdown is opposed by one member who believes, see, I didn't give his name. I just say one member. It's a German scientist. He believes powering up the ship will cause a catastrophe. Turcotte is joined by others who have pieces of the puzzle of what is at Area 51 and other mysteries of man past. As they learn more, they realize it is much larger than just Area 51, escalate the conflict. They rescue the reporter. Area 51 forces are closing in. Turcotte has to decide what to do next, a moment of crisis. Instead of running, fleeing, he and his team head for Area 51. They infiltrate the base, and Turcotte stops the power of the mothership, killing General Gulick, the antagonist, in the process. Climax. He learns the truth of what has been happening in Area 51 and realizes it's just the tip of the iceberg, rewriting the entire history of mankind. Resolution. Now, I got them going to East Island, finding Rongo tablets, traveling to where they think Atlantis is. I've got all this neat stuff. I don't put it in there. Main storyline from beginning to end. I had to get rid of a lot of things I love. You don't care. I explained Foo Fighters. Anybody know, not the band. Foo Fighters that followed bombers during World War II, but nobody, even the Germans reported on, nobody knew what they were. They just would shadow aircraft all the time. It's kind of interesting. They're out there. Which means that they're out there, they're here. Same as time travel. If there's time travel, then they're here. They held a time travel convention at MIT. No one showed up. I gotta get hold of them. Just focus a little bit on